Yo, yo, yo. Wait, what are we doing?
Yeah,
No,
Magdalena.
I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Why?
No. I mean, I thought we were doing like, like a little
Like Swedish
Travolta
Match or
twist,
taking a bath? Nah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Why don't you ever just catch on to my vibes? Catch the waves.
well, I thought I knew what was going on until you doing, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. I was there with you for a second.
Oh
Just a
well,
second.
Okay, I'll take that much. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing really good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. It's been a great day. Great news all around. Can't complain, man. Can't fucking complain. We want to fight.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. What's up,
There you
Leandro?
go. How you doing, brother? No, but
Hey, Jojo.
Jojo,
What's going on,
we
dog?
got some good news coming up. Going to be starting a show on my own channel sometime in March with my Myra, who's also a type of diabetic, and we're going to kind of go into like what it's like living with it. She's a trained classical ballerina, and me as a graphic designer,
Awesome.
illustrator, both in the arts. See how it goes through, our day to day lives and what inspires us when we're having bad days. So I'm really excited to get that ball rolling sometime in March. I
Yeah,
got a
that'd be
shout
cool.
out from my buddy right there on his podcast today. So thanks, Rob. I
Yeah.
love you, brother.
Point
Always
it out
been
again.
thank
There
you,
it is.
Rob. I
There
love
it
you.
is.
Always been great to me. Always been a huge inspiration and just teaching me how to run my business and my game and all that. So it's great when your heroes can become your friends. You know.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I was listening to that podcast, Rob Servatius, by the way, for anybody that hasn't checked that out. The
Yeah.
newest pod he had out today was called Independence and the Haters or something like that. And
Yeah.
it was a great episode. And he read this letter from like 2011 that he had written, or like an article that he wrote. And it was just
Mhm.
awesome. It's like the drop the mic kind of moment. And that dude is like untouchable, in my opinion. That's why you can't rattle him. All the haters and stuff. I love it. Like, dude is just so damn smart. But the point of it, my point is that he gave a shout out to a lot of the guys on the Liefeld message boards from, 10, 15 years ago or whatever.
Early
And
2000s. I think that officially
oh
started
shit,
like
like 20 years
05,
ago.
06. Yeah, but we were on a couple different message boards like Middle World, Spinner Rack, and there's one more. I gotta ask Terry. But that all kind of gets like bamboozled in my memory of
Yeah,
what's going on, So,
but
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 it's
it was cool
almost
to
going on
hear.
2 decades,
Yeah, it was cool to hear Rob give Sean a shout out because I was like, that's my boy. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's my boy.
yeah.
Uh,
Nice, nice.
yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
good. Actually, I was a week behind, but I had a chance to watch or listen to two in a row, and I got caught up for today's. So that was cool. But yeah, hail brother, hail the chat.
Leandra, thank you,
We're
man.
still
Always
waiting for people
appreciate
to
you
come in
coming by.
here. Oh
And
man,
do you want to tell them about who we just booked for March
I don't know, do you?
6th? I do. Tell the world. If I got news, I ain't keeping it quiet. I share all your pages on Twitter, so people see
That's
that.
true. Well, I didn't know if you wanted to build it up, and then the closer we get, say it, or just throw it out there.
What do you want to do? I'm with you.
Well, I guess since you brought it up now, I guess we didn't talk about this pregame.
Let's ask. Yeah, let's ask the chat if they would like a fluffer or if they would like the full blown, news.
Well, Leandro
All right.
says, "Tell me."
Okay.
What-
Twist my arm. See that? Wait, hold on. That's why I'm horrible. Like when it comes to like peer pressure, like my friends will be like, "Let's do this." I'm like, "No." They're like, "Come on." I'm like, "All right,
Okay.
all right, whatever."
Um, let's wait a second. Let's wait a little bit.
Okay.
Let the tension build. Let the
In the
tension build. Let's
meantime,
get more
should I
people in here.
should I hawk my shit and then
Yeah,
do it
hawk
at the
away,
end?
man. Or hawk,
I
hawk away, hawk away,
hawk. So
hawk.
sold out on the sketchbooks of
What's going on,
my
Raymond?
Ray, we love you, brother. Of my con artist sketchbooks. So with this is I'm finding like all last 1 minute shit. So this is like a metal print that was the volume 1.
There it is. Look at it.
Oh, you see
Look
it,
at
but
that.
and then on the back you get a Streets head sketch as well. So this I'm gonna charge 35. I gotta check on the shipping because it is metal and it is a bit heavier, but I don't think it should be that much more than like $5, like the typical. But You know, if anybody's interested, slide in my DMs and let's be friends.
Sounds sexual. Sounds sexual.
Thanks, Ray. Appreciate it. Learned a lot from him. You know, I
Oh,
I
and I
continue
want
to
to
still do.
give
Wait,
a
we're
big
talking
shout
about
out
me.
to. Oh yeah, sorry. I just want to give a big shout out to my big brother, who got this as a early birthday present for me.
Oh,
And
word.
he doesn't know a lot about comics, but he saw this and he picked it up because he knew I liked the X-Men. And the funny thing is, he didn't even know this was Jim Lee. And I opened this up. I was like, holy shit, dude! I was like, this is awesome. I was like, and you got one of my favorite artists. And he just kind of looked at me like he did it on purpose. You know, he's just like,
He's like fucking
right.
nerd.
And I was like, you don't even know who that is, dude.
You're
But a
like
big
Jim
shout-
Lee? He's like, oh, the guy from the movies? I love his art.
Yeah. A big shout out to my big brother Pete. I really appreciate that. That warmed my heart.
Shout out to Pete.
And so I'm wearing it tonight to represent. And then I'm probably not going to wear it again because I don't want to mess this up. Because you wash this, it's going to get all fucked up. So
That's
I'm
how
going to take it off.
with the graveyard shift shirts. Like I got
Yeah.
two of the gold ones that they sent me. I have one that I wore for my convention that I threw Geeks at the Beach last summer, well, 2019. I got that on the news, so that was cool. And then one just kind
Nice.
of hanging. Hell,
What up, Dojo?
Dojo Con Comics.
Dojo Con Comics. All right. I'll go with that. What up, Jamie?
Hey, Jamie.
Good to see you. All right, we got people rolling in now. Yeah, hail everybody. Hail in the chat. So let's get rolling here, man. It's Friday night, and welcome to the
Art and Stuff show. I'm Sean Aaron. I'm fucking awesome. With me, as always, is my brother.
You almost made me spit that out. That was awesome, dude. I like that.
I bet that's not
I
the
wish
first time that's happened.
I wish I had thought about that opening. Like mine's a little bit drug on. You're just like, boom, I'm fucking awesome. I'm like, shit, it's right to the point.
I just thought of it now. I'm on the seat of my pants. You know, I'm
Amazing.
I've been
Well,
listening to the Bee Gees lately, so that's probably why.
that could be. I'm the very attractive, very sexy, very distinguished, always narcissistic, but never vain. A staunch defender of Rob Liefeld, and a lover of all things 90s. Joseph Michael Sontag, or Joam Sontag if you prefer, as the Pope likes to call me, JMS. Welcome to the show. And as always, what a fucking awesome show it is we have tonight. Because we got a really awesome creator, animator. His campaign right now is kicking some serious ass. It's about to end. So I'm going to throw it over to Sean to bring our guest on if he's ready down there.
Is he good to go?
Maybe not.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. Okay, he's ready to go.
Okay.
Throw it to Sean.
All right. Like Joe said, he's an animator. He's a teacher. He's been in the illustration game for a couple of decades now. Professor Murph. Let's bring him on and hear about his awesome campaign.
Here we go. Coming up, and lost me. But here we go. Professor Murph.
Hang on, guys. I'm buying some more stock in GameStop.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, good. I just did as well.
Gotta crash those hedge funds.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think everybody's done that. That's awesome. Some crazy stuff going on. So how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Good, man.
Good to have you on finally.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a long time coming, but here we are.
So I know we talked. You're fresh to the show. You and I have talked a little bit for a while now. Finally got you on, but we like to. You have a really interesting past. You got a lot of stuff you're doing. Not only the comics, but you got the animation and everything. I say let's not wait any longer. Let's jump into your backstory and see this awesome path from where you started to where you are now, and then we'll jump into the campaign.
Well, I saw the Liefeld poster behind Sean, and what's funny is
that's his banner.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
From his conventions.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, he gave it to me after one gig, but you know.
That is cool. Well, my first comic was published in '92 when the same month Image launched in preview.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I was 17, and Diamond accepted my book. I mean, it was back when you could do anything, and it had #1 on it. It would sell.
Right.
And I solicited in the same catalog that had Wildcats on the cover. So that was a crazy experience. But So that's how long I've been in comics, since '92. But independent. I've always self-published. I've never worked for a publisher, never worked for Marvel, DC, Image, anybody. It's always been my own stuff. So what I'm doing right now in Comicsgate is no different than what I did back in the '90s. The only difference is it's a lot easier to find an audience than it was back then because, because of the internet and everything.
Yeah.
But so I did that for a few years. Black and white historical series. I've always been into history, so it was a Civil War series, kind of like the Nam, but if you put the Nam in the Civil War, following a group of soldiers. And it sold fairly well in comics, but it wasn't like a huge hit in the comics market. But where it wasn't a huge hit was I would go to Civil War reenactments and set up a table, and these comics would fly. I mean, they would just. So I had a bigger readership of Civil War buffs than I did comic book readers. So it's just one of those things. So then I did another one back in 2008 called Clayburn. It was a 200-page graphic novel, and my colorist on War Party colored that. And Al Milgrom from Marvel Comics, he was my inker on that book.
Oh, wow.
And that was an expensive project. It's a 200-pager. I had to pay Al. I had to pay the colorist.
Yeah.
So I actually got investors to do that book. So we're talking long before crowdfunding, long before CG and all this other stuff.
So you started it all, is what we're hearing, huh?
Yeah,
well,
right.
I mean, this is what I've always done. So for me, it was a no-brainer. The only difference was because I had a distributor for those books, you only get 40% of the cover price when you sell through Diamond, obviously. Mm-hmm. They're taking 60% discount. So that's a heavy hit to take. Yeah. And what I love about crowdfunding is it's direct to the consumer. So you're keeping the full cover price, and they're not paying anymore, at least not for my book. They're $4.99 or $3.99 each. So the same price you'd pay in a store for my books. So they're paying the same price they would pay in a store plus shipping, and I'm getting to keep the full cover price. Everybody's happy,
That's a great deal.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, continue how you broke into everything, how you got into animation.
Yeah, well, animation, I got into animation back in the late 90s when they first started coming out with software to do animation, hand-drawn animation on your computer. I don't do CG. I do only hand-drawn.
Really?
I draw it digitally, like on a Cintiq tablet. But back then they didn't have tablets back then, so you had to draw it in paper, scan it. The software just wasn't up to par with what I needed. So I did that for a few years, kind of backed away. Went off to New York and wrote 2 musicals with a guy.
Oh, really?
For off Broadway, and we did some shows up there. And then it wasn't until the technology finally started to take off, in about early 2000s, that I decided to get back into animation, and got my master's degree, became a full-time professor, and started working on a film called Dogtown that I had written as my master's degree thesis. And then just over the years, started raising money for it. Got Jason Begay from Chicago PD to do a voice. Got George Foreman, former heavyweight champion of the world, to do a voice. Yeah. And Stacey Dash, the hottest girl in Clueless. Way hotter than Alicia Silverstone.
Beautiful. She's still hot. She's still gorgeous.
Yeah. So they were all great. I flew to Houston to record George. I flew to LA to record Jason and Stacey. And the movie's about halfway finished, but got several $100,000 to raise. So I just figured, why not do another IP? Let's take a little break from the animation right now and do a series. And that's how War Party kind of happened.
As far as the animation goes, I think that's so. Like, I always wanted to do voice acting. And when I was still in the music business, I used to be in a band, there was a guy that I knew that was starting to do, he wanted to do animation. He wanted to do like the Cartoon Network kind of style of animation, and he had started his own thing. He was putting stuff out on YouTube, and he brought me and my guitarist in because we were going to play ourselves as a band coming into the story. And that's the episode never came out, but it was so fun to go into the studio and record lines and just, have fun doing it. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I'd love to do more of that. Like, the whole animation thing to me, besides just the art aspect, is really cool. I think anytime you get a chance to do that, like, I just watched this documentary the other night. I didn't even know about it. It was the making of Batman the Animated Series. It was like an hour and a half. on YouTube. It was
Oh,
DC. It was on like the DC page on YouTube, but it was like an hour and a half documentary, and it was just like I was so into it. I recommend everybody check it out. Sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked there. My brain is
We
just
do it all
is-
the time. Look,
We do it all the time.
we derail like a mother.
Yeah, going down the rabbit holes there. But
Yeah.
circle back. My whole point was like it's really cool. Like I admire the fact that you put a movie together and that you're still working on it, and that's really cool to me. I really admire
Yeah,
that.
what's crazy is my producer went to Sundance back in March or late February, and she was there as a guest. She wasn't there as like a presenter or anything, but she had the trailer. I have a finished trailer for the movie that's fully animated. So basically, even though the movie's not done, we took sections that were done and made a 2-minute teaser trailer out of it. So it looks like the movie's ready to, it's finished. It's got music and everything.
Nice.
She had it on her computer, and she was at one of those pitches they do in the theater where there's about 300 or 400 industry people sitting out in the audience, and people get up and they have 2 minutes to pitch their script, their screenplay, or their trailer, or whatever they're trying to get produced or distributed. She got up and showed the 2-minute trailer at Sundance, and people were clapping and cheering at the end of this thing. Yeah,
That's
awesome. And of course, this was right before COVID hit. COVID hits 2 weeks later, and we're like, oh man, this is just. She goes, don't worry, the impact was made. People saw it, distributors saw it, producers saw it, investors saw it, industry people saw it, and so she's amping up her efforts to finish raising the money this year. So
That's cool.
kind of juggling two things simultaneously: the movie and
Yeah.
the comic. But the movie, I have a team of animators all over the world working on it, so it's not. I do some animation on it, but not as much these days because I've got other people doing that. But I have to halt them. They have to halt their work when the money has to be raised. So we have to raise money and then do more work, raise money and do more work. It's just the nature of things when it's independent,
And after we get done talking about the War Party campaign, we'll jump into looking at Dogtown a little bit because I've been checking out a little bit of the page that you sent me, and it looks really good, man. It really does.
I'm a big Ralph Bakshi fan. So if you're familiar with Ralph Bakshi, Fritz the Cat, and Heavy Traffic and Coonskin, and all those classic movies, Fire and Ice. So yeah, I really tried to make it look like a 70s, 80s kind of Ralph Bakshi grindhouse kind of movie. It's dog fighting. It's about a pit bull that's taken to the Super Bowl of dog fighting. So there's some blood and it's PG-13 stuff. Yeah, this is not little kitty stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I got George Foreman, because George Foreman was playing a retared fighter dog, so he was perfect.
Nice.
He was like a retired fighter. He just had to be himself.
Well, let's So, how did the idea of War Party come together? Because the story behind that, I'll let you get into what the book's about and all that. It seems like a pretty interesting concept, and we were talking before about a love of classic Universal monsters and everything. You've got a lot of awesome aspects of that in your book. So how'd that all come together?
Well, one of my favorite movies is Last of the Mohicans with Daniel Day-Lewis. Great freaking movie.
Hawkeye.
I've seen it probably 100 times, no joke. I love that movie. It never loses impact for me. I just love the music. I love the cinematography. Michael Mann's directing, the brutality. That time period to me is not utilized enough in film and in television. I don't know why, but the pre-revolution America, 1750s era is wild. You've got this crazy, brutal stuff going on all over the country, and so I started researching it a little bit more and hearing about like when families would get wiped out and they would take the children. Like sometimes they would kill all the men, sometimes the women, or sometimes they'd take the women and the children slaves, and either they would melt into the native community or they would be sold to the French. And this was part of the war effort against the British, the French and the British going back and forth. And so I just took the idea kind of like Taken, where a father's trying to get his daughter back. His whole family's wiped out. He's trying to get his little girl back. And but I wanted to put some fantasy elements in there. And I thought, well, I've always loved The Howling. I've always loved monster movies. I've never really put monsters in history together. And the whole shapeshifter thing is a Native American sort of mythology.
Yeah,
It just
skinwalkers.
made sense to go, well, let's do a Taken in the 1750s, and let's throw some werewolves, some shapeshifters in there, and really make it something special. So, he needs a little help to go to save his daughter. And, of course, the help comes in the form of a shaman that he befriended when he was younger. She's the one that has the powers to give them these transformation abilities. So it's going to be a great adventure, sort of war epic.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
I think
That's pretty powerful to say to somebody, like you're in love. Like,
And the thing is, with something like that, because it's really easy to get hung up on the monsters and stuff. It's not about monsters. It's about a dad trying to save his daughter, right?
Right.
And he'll do whatever he's got to do to do it, even if it means growing hair and fangs and growing 10 feet tall. He'll do whatever he has to do to get his little girl back. So there's the humanity element to the story. And it's got all the great tropes. I used to love the Incredible Hulk, the TV show. I used to love it when I was a kid, when they'd throw him in a gravel pit, or something, and his eyes turned, and everyone's laughing and and you're just like, it's coming, here it comes Lou Ferrigno, and so that's kind of what I try to capture in this, is these moments where these guys are down and out, and it looks like, help is not on the way, and then it's like, just give it a minute. The beast is coming out, and we're going to see some comeuppance. I love those kind of stories.
Dojo Ton Comics said I backed it. I can't wait to get the book. I backed it as well, and after Professor Murph hit us up about wanting to be on the show, I didn't really know too much about the campaign. He sent me a link, and I checked it out, and right off the bat, I could tell, one, the quality was really good, and we're going to bring up the campaign in a second and look at it, but the quality of the art, the colors, everything we've talked about before we went live was really professional. And I think that's one of the best things to sell, because at that point I could just be like, all right, I'm sold at that, without even knowing the story. Like, it takes, and this is probably for, I'd say, the majority of people looking at campaigns, it takes me about 2 seconds for me to see like the cover art or just a page of something when I'm looking at a campaign to know if I want to buy it or not. And like, the art sold me right off the bat. And then I dove into like reading about the story, watched the trailer, all that kind of stuff. So right off the bat, just great quality. So anybody that's thinking about backing this thing, I would suggest that you do it, because just in that aspect alone, I think you'll be very entertained. And it's getting ready to close pretty soon. So we're running out of time.
It's not closing. I'm in demand.
So that's right. You're in demand. Yep.
Yeah, I'm staying in demand until fulfillment. So,
when you looking to do that?
June.
Okay.
June is my fulfillment goal. So that's another 5 months. So,
all right, cool. I got time.
At the rate it's going, it's definitely going to hit 25. Like, I definitely see it hitting 25. It might even hit 30 by then, because it's shown no signs of slowing. It's been a steady climb. That's what's really interesting been about this campaign. I've had a few spikes, but it's never really had like a big hit and then a drop off. It's been doing this the whole time, almost like a runner just running at a steady pace. Yeah. And that's, I think, why the numbers look the way they do, is because rather than sprinting the first lap and then running out of gas, this thing has been just coasting along. And I'm not saying that's the way every campaign has to work. Everybody's campaign is different, but I have noticed with this one, that's why it's achieving, it's steadily climbing the charts, so to speak. Kind of like a song that slowly starts getting noticed on the radio, and it keeps climbing. That's kind of the way this book it's been for this campaign. So it's interesting to see that.
Leandro, yeah.
What perks?
What
perks is it? I'm not sure.
Are you asking like new perks, or clarify that?
Well, I can say this. There are 3 secret perks that you only get access to once you become a backer. They're not on the page. One is issue 0, which is because see, originally when I wrote this, it was going to be 8 issues, but I wanted a $25 price point, and I just said I can't offer 8 issues for $25. It's too much. I can't afford it. So I condensed it down to 6 to keep that $25 price point. But I had to throw out the backstory of my lead character, Diane, the shaman girl. So then I decided later, well, how about this? I'll add a secret perk for an issue 0, and it's optional, and I'll put her backstory in that book. And so that's a secret perk, but I made it a limited edition, 250 copies. Half of them are already gone, and that's it. I'm not printing more. So there's that. Then I did a handbook, which is kind of like the Marvel Universe books. You know how they used to have the bios of the characters, and it would be like, talk about their history, and it's that. It's got some maps in there. I've got like a chart talking about the timeline and then like the transformation process, how it works in your body and what happens, and step by step. So it's got all this sort of geek stuff, you know. Like if you want to spend more time in the world other than just the 6 issues, you can get the handbook. And so that's another perk. And then my previous published works are also a secret perk, my last 2 books.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Now,
so it's all there.
Are they add-ons or are they kind
They're
of
separate.
included?
They're separate secret perk links. So as soon as somebody backs, I email them the 3 links, and then they can click on those 3 different links and see what those 3 perks are and decide which ones they want.
Sweet.
There are some add-ons. There's a poster, and there's I'm doing a motion comic, because me being an animator, I wanted to do, and I'm not offering any digital copies of this. You cannot buy this digitally. But if you do want to watch it on a digital device, you watch the motion. You can get the motion comic for $10. It's all 6 issues. That is an add-on. And it's music, sound effects, some limited multi-plane animation with camera work, frame by frame. And the main reason I did it is because my biggest gripe with comics is the lack of music. Like, that's the one thing that it just, when you're watching a movie, the music is like 90% of the emotional core of what you're watching. You turn the sound off, it loses so much. Well, I feel like comics are kind of that way too. I'm not saying comics can't connect emotionally. They can. But it's very difficult to do it when there's no music. And I think when you can read it in its book form and then go back and maybe watch it as a motion comic, it adds another layer, another dimension to the story that you may not get just by reading it. And so I like motion comics for that reason. Because I guess my point is, if I'm going to look at read something on a tablet, I don't want to just read a comic book. I can do that in print.
Right.
If you're going to put it on a digital format, give me some sound, give me some audio, give me some camera work, give me something else other than just scrolling through a page. So I'm just one of those guys, I'm not a fan of digital comics and PDFs, and I will never do that. So if people want to read my books, they got to buy the print version. John doesn't like it.
Yeah, he hates it.
And I know everybody's got their take on that. Mine's not so much about the piracy thing. To me, what makes comics is partly the collectability factor of having a tangible book in your
physical copy in your hand to be able to flip. I'm the exact same way. Like I've got a series on my channel called Appreciating Comic Book Art, which I enjoy doing like some digital, because I'm showing it as a. But I also have parts of the video where I do physical copies of the books. But if you're talking about collecting, I just have never gotten into buying a ton of books and then just having them on my tablet or something. I've done that before, like if I'm going on a trip, it's kind of nice, but like I like my collection. I like to feel it in my hands, like I like to flip through it. I like the smell of comics.
There's nothing like going through an old comic book store and you're like,
yes.
And you're like, I need to take a shower. Oh no, I see the name. I see
Savage Sword of Conan. That's the one with the lizard on the cover, the McFarlane cover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's before the comic industry started cutting a lot of corners, and if you notice how books are produced nowadays, there's crap, dropping all my comics. I got a stack of comics I need to put away. It's just sitting next to me. I always want to show people this for a second. Something that really bugs the hell out of me.
Just something?
So this is the new issue of X-Men, which Brett Booth draws, which is awesome.
And then Delso Corona.
And Delso Corona. But I don't know if you can tell or not, but what I hate, maybe you can't tell. The paper that they print these books on now is nowhere near. It's all like this. Image does the same thing. Everybody, I understand the way the industry is right now, and everyone's trying to cut corners because they want to make more money and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really disappointed lately in how the quality of the books coming out, which is one thing I really like about independents, CG or whatever. Like the quality you get when you get that book in your hand is, it's good paper. A lot of times it's that what's the word for it when it's not stapled? Which I don't mind the stapled, but like the
perfect bound.
Perfect, yeah, the perfect bound. Yeah. A lot of books are perfect bound. It's just the quality is fun. It's nice.
What's the paper? What's the issue with the paper? Is it the weight? Is it just feel like a magazine, like magazine level paper?
Exactly. The paper weight, it's very thin. You can kind of, when I first picked this up, yeah, there you go. It's got, see that?
Kablam does that. You know, the printing company Kablam, like their books are kind of like that. I never really like going to them for shit.
Yeah, and it annoys me as a comic collector. It just annoys me, Like back in the day, especially when Image hit, the quality of paper the Image used was fantastic. Whether it was early Image
and they were still on newsprint, but it was like a nicer, I guess, like a satin finish newsprint. Because when Image first started, they were on newsprint, but it was a heavier kind of whiter paper, slightly, from what I remember. Yeah, and
it was great quality. And then when you got into later in the 90s, the paper changed and stuff. It got a little bit more glossy or whatever you want to call it.
Within the year, so that's a big jump. Like technology-wise, if I'm trying to sound smart.
Yeah, because I'm doing floppies for this. I'm doing floppies for this campaign, but at the same time, I don't like floppies on paper that's too heavy any more than I like floppies on paper that's too cheap. You got to find that balance on a floppy.
I agree.
Because if you go too heavy on the paper in a floppy, it doesn't feel like a comic book anymore. It's too rigid and like, I don't know, it feels strange. So I'm thinking like a 70-pound is about right. 70-pound satin. Okay. I don't know what those are. Those might be 50.
I was just going to say these. I've noticed they might be really over the last couple of years. Just kind of going down, especially with Spawn, because I still collect Spawn. And the paper of Spawn's just been going down. And I used to hold Spawn in the highest regard when it came to quality of paper, especially like from 50 to 100, issues, 50 to 100. Like the quality was just awesome.
Let me grab my graphic novel I did in 2008. Let me show you how heavy the paperweight is on that one. Hold on.
All right.
Cool.
What's up, Harrenberg? Glad to see you here.
I always mispronounce saying that. His name.
I'm
and I apologize for
I'm sure I mispronounced it too. Hold on a second, let me bring this up.
This thing weighs a pound. I'm not kidding. It weighs a pound. It's 200 pages.
There you go.
Heavy duty paper.
I was just gonna say, you can see just by that the quality of the paper.
Yeah. It's,
absolutely. There you go.
It's heavy stock.
Oh, beautiful art.
This is the same colorist that's doing War Party. Same colorist.
Nice.
But like I said, I had Al Milgram do the inks. But this it did well. I mean, it won the Xeric Award. Peter Laird's grant that he used to give to independent publishers. He doesn't anymore.
Oh, nice.
But he would give, I don't know, like $50,000 or $60,000 a year. There were $5,000 grants. And he'd pick like 10 creators every year and award the grant to
that's
creator.
Awesome.
So it was very cool to get that.
Let's bring up the campaign, take a look at it. There we go. So many pages open.
If you refresh, I think I'm only $7 away from 24K.
Yeah, you're right there.
Nice.
Hey, one more backer tonight to push you over to 24. Let's see if we can do that. You had originally a $10,000 goal. You closed at $14,256, and now in demand you've got almost 10 grand in demand so far. That's it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Okay. Oh, do you got how many trailers you got? Oh, okay. There's
just two. That's just a little mini trailer for Zero. Now that's the poster there. You're looking at that art there. That's that was an original piece I actually did on board. That's the only one I did traditionally. Everything else I do digitally. That was actually done. The color is digital, but the inking and penciling was traditional. And that original piece already sold. But
that's some powerful gestures you got in there.
Thanks. Yeah, I was trying to make it dynamic as possible.
That's awesome.
I tend to lean toward realism, so I'm one of those guys that has to push myself to exaggerate a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I tend to, I like artists like Brian Boland, and Bernie Wrightson, the guys that were, they're expressive, but they're still grounded in some realistic. They're not that cartoony. But it's one of the reasons I love Michael Golden, because he could make things look realistic, but he could make them look cartoony at the same time, and it was strange how he was able to do that.
Like the name, like you got like the realism of the backgrounds, but the kind of cartoony.
Yeah,
characters.
Like his machine guns and stuff are all realistic, but like the mouth is like, like cartoony, like his Punisher. Have you seen that with the minigun? I love that. The minigun and Spider-Man swinging behind him, and you got like all the shells. That's the Michael Golden cover, the one with the eagle. So what I did was, in the variant pack, you get 5 variant covers of issue 1. Each cover features a different member of the War Party, and I had Mike do the eagle cover. So awesome. that one did pretty well. I think I've sold about 80 of those, 70 or 80 of those. And those are my covers. That's the wolf and then the jaguar. I'm in Florida, so naturally there's going to be a jaguar and there's going to be a gator.
Right.
Well, like I was saying before when we started this, the art is just is really good. Top notch.
Thanks.
Let me hold on a second. I got to make sure I shared this with audio, otherwise viewing the trailer is not going to work. Hold on a second. I always forget to click that. All right, there we go. Let's take a look at this trailer. It's on mute. Come on now.
Everything changed when war reached the Americas. Caught between the French and the British. Family paid the price. Only my darling Sarah survived. We took her away. We couldn't save them, but we will save her. 5 men against thousands, how can it be done? We are not merely men. War has brought out the beast in us all. And we will have our vengeance. For we are the War Party.
I love when you throw the last of the Mohicans in there. That's awesome. Awesome trailer. Leandro said to refresh, so let's go. There we go.
Leandro, thank you.
There we go.
Nice. Wow. What a night. Nice. And I will send you, thanks, Leandro. I will send you a link for Zero and the handbook and my previous works if you're interested in those as well. I'll email you that soon. Tonight, actually.
That's awesome. Really cool.
Wow. $24,000. I was going to consider myself happy to hit 15 grand, and that's honestly what I thought this campaign would do, about 15, maybe 20 at best. And I mean, we're on the road to 25 very easily. That's coming soon. So, and I just added recently a new perk. Michael Golden contacted me last week and said he would be willing to do 10 commissions, and I've already sold one of them. And it's anything you want. It's a 9x12 shoulder up of any character, Star Wars, DC, Marvel, Lord of the Rings, whatever, CG, doesn't matter. Yeah, thank you. And so that was pretty cool that he was willing to do that. Plus, they get the full variant set with that as well, with his cover and everything. So I tried to price this thing reasonable. Not cutting anybody else down for their campaigns. I understand crowdfunding, you got to charge more than you normally would. But I wanted my first campaign to be what you'd pay for on the shelf. Just the way I wanted to do it. Because you can see I've got over 600 backers. I should technically be in the 30s right now, not the 20s. But because my price point is so low, even with 618 backers, I'm still under $25,000.
Well, I was going to say, too. Go ahead, Sean.
Go, Joe.
Okay, I'll go. When I first checked this out, I didn't realize it was $25 for 6 issues. I was like, wow, that is a hell of a deal. You know, it's and yeah, most of the campaigns, you know, that we run is one issue, whether it's, you know, 48 pages or higher or, you know, or less than that. Usually the price point for one issue is right around $25, and there's reason for that, you know, and everybody goes into it. And when I first saw this, I was like, oh shit, you know, 6 issues, you know, ready to roll. Only
Now
for $25.
they're 22-page stories, so they're not, you know, they're not like 64-page stories or anything like that. But you're still getting 140 pages of story.
Like, still to me, that even if somebody, all right, let's say somebody had a campaign for a book that was only like a standard book, but they were still looking for $25 for the campaign, but the quality was really good, because that's just what they were doing, I would still back it. And I've done that before on various platforms, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, it doesn't matter. It's like, what sucks me in as a fan and as an artist myself is the quality of the work. So all I had to do is literally see a picture like what you see on the screen, and I was just like, I'll back this project. And then I noticed it was 6 issues, and I was like, oh, that's a plus, because otherwise I would have, if it was just 1 issue, I didn't care, you know, because the quality was so good.
Well, Leroy, you guys familiar with Leroy? He was like, well, maybe he's just trying to build a customer basis. Before we were in communication, he was in a chat. They were talking about this, and he's exactly right. I've got over 600 backers. Keep in mind, now this is a strategy I can pass on to other creators who are considering doing it the way I did it. Yes, I'm not making as much money on this first campaign as I could have, but I've got over 600 backers. When I do my next campaign, I've got over 600 backers, right? So you see what I mean?
Right.
And then you're bringing more. So it's I'm giving them a deal, you know, on my first. So they give me a chance, I give them a deal, right? And then my next campaign, I can charge a little more, you know, something that's a little more comfortable for me. And my readers, they want the material, and you know, they'll back it. So it's, you know, it's like, you know, when you join a gym, you know, I get the first month for free, really, or the first 3 months for free, and then I pay after that. Yeah, it's kind of like that in a way. I kind of took that approach, and so far I think it's working really well. So.
Yeah, it seems like a good strategy when you had the ability to do like the 6 issues or whatever, and really bring people into the fold. I mean, obviously it's working, so that's awesome, you know. And I'm hoping that the next time we see you in your next campaign, you've doubled or tripled the amount that you're bringing in because of that aspect. That now you got people on board, they're invested into your art, regardless if it's, you know, War Party or if it's something else, but they're invested to the quality that you produce as well. So they're more apt to back anything that you do now in the future. So.
Well, and I will say something that hopefully will excite my backers. I'm a story first guy, okay? So if you like the art, you're going to love the story, because for me it's really more about the story than the art. I try to put as much in the art as possible, but ultimately I'm more of a school of the comics of the 80s rather than the 90s. And what I mean is, we all know that the 90s it became much more about the art than the story. Whereas the comics in the 80s, the story was paramount. Most of the best classic books we remember today came out in the 80s, right?
Right.
Dark Knight Returns, Killing Joke, all those classic books that everybody loves, Infinity Gauntlet, you know, Watchmen. Those are all 80s books, right? So for me, story is the most important thing, because it's the thing that really matters ultimately. The art is the thing that gets people to try it. Like, the art brings you in, the story keeps you, in my opinion, as a reader.
Right. Yeah, yep. I completely agree with that. Like, as an artist myself, or as a fan, it was always the art first that brought me in. And then, obviously the story would hold me there.
But I mean, look at James Brown's colors. He's an excellent colorist. I love what he does with my work, you know.
Yeah, I mean, just
phenomenal dancer as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he puts J Brown, not James Brown.
Okay.
J Brown, right there.
Smart.
But yeah, like I was saying before, I mean, just on all aspects, and I'm sure the story from what we're talking is going to be really good too. So I'm looking forward to reading it. But from all aspects, it's very professionally done. You know, all art, inks, colors, everything just looks great.
Thanks.
It really just
And
jumps off.
you see a barcode there. My goal is to put my overrun in stores. I do want to get this in retail, not because you make a lot of money, because you don't, but I do think it's important to get it exposed to people that aren't on crowdfunding, that are still going to comic stores, that aren't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm submitting it to Diamond, just like I've done with all my books in the past, because I think it's important that we still have a presence in the marketplace while the marketplace still exists.
Yeah, you got to exploit yourself any way you can for your product to grow. So yeah, of course, makes sense.
Yeah, I completely agree with that too. I think that's something that people should do, more often, depending on what they're looking for. But I mean, like some people, they're doing like these massive books, so I get that. It's probably not something you're going to try to market to a store. But if you're doing like floppies, like what you're doing, and my book is going to be much more in a floppy kind of style. I'm going to try to pack more pages into it, but it's going to still be kind of what you would see on a shelf. I would still love to get my book and if it does fund into a store as well, because I have a love for the comic stores. I've gone to them all my life, and I like seeing the book on the shelf. So I got no problem with people taking their books from crowdfunding and trying to put them into a store as well. It's a win-win. I think it's a great way to advertise, good way to get new readers. What's up, Rick?
Hail, Rick.
Hail, Rick. Oh, Rick, thank you for all that you've done. Next Friday, Joe and I will be on Michael Bancroft's show. So we know you are a huge part of that. So thank you, brother.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. So Harold Berg said, what's your preferred LCS or overrun in stores?
Well, what does he mean exactly? Preferred?
Yeah, I guess clarify that a little bit, because I was going to try to pretend like I knew what he was talking about, because I didn't want to look like I didn't know what was going on.
Well, I will say this: my backers will get their books before they're in stores. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Red Rooster.
Yeah. I would say that. That's important.
I'm not going to do that, so they don't have to worry about that now.
So you have integrity, is what you're telling us.
Well, I'm not going to go that far. I don't want to judge.
I'm joking.
I think it's great. I think it's great they got a Walmart deal. I just think that the backers, they're the ones that made it happen. They should get their books first. But no, I will. What I'll do is pretty much about the same time I'm fulfilling is when I'm going to have it synced with Diamond possibly. And I don't know, Diamond may not accept it. They've always accepted my work in the past, but things have changed. So, or maybe because it's CG, I don't know. They may have a policy now. I don't know. I don't know how far that goes. But I do want to see them in stores. The barcode also, and this is a little side note, if you want to save money on shipping and ship media mail, put an ISBN code on your book. Not just a UPC barcode, but an ISBN number. ISBN number.
Okay.
Which I have done. These they have UPCs, they have barcodes, they also have ISBN numbers. When you do that, it makes it a book, and it qualifies for media mail. Okay, and media mail is a lot cheaper shipping than any other method.
Really?
Yeah. Now, graphic novels, you can do it all day long because graphic novels usually have one of these because it's a book. But floppies, generally, it gets a little hairy because floppies were considered like magazines. And so to get around that, don't put any advertisements in it, and make sure it has an ISBN number on the front. And that way, if a postal inspector opens it, they see that number, the chances of them denying your media mail designation goes away. Like it qualifies it. So it's a little workaround to save money on shipping, because shipping is what's killing all of us at this point with this stuff. So anything you can do to get the shipping costs down is good.
Well, thank you for that. That's one thing that's great about this whole community. That the big dogs are helping the little dogs, and even like the little dogs that know some shit. Like it's not selfishness. Like we're all in this together type of deal. There's like a brother and sisterhood, and it's just like we're all doing this to make our own products even better. Yeah,
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 totally.
yeah. It's awesome.
Well,
It's fucking awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't help me if anyone else is eating more money on shipping than me. This is not a
Right.
zero-sum game. What's great
Right.
about the whole Comicsgate thing is there's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of people who want to back books, but you got to give them a reason to back your book. In other words,
Right.
the whole reason they left the mainstream is because the books suck. So we
Right.
can't give them books that suck too. They're not going to come
Absolutely.
here and buy suck after they just left suck. They want to
Yeah.
see good stuff. So, you know, as long as we're giving them what they want, there's money to be spent, you know,
Mhm.
and I'd rather them spend it on books than on shipping, right? You know, if I can
Yeah.
lower my shipping costs for them, pass that on to them, they're going to buy more stuff, right? Yeah, Australia. I will say this, I'm losing money whenever I ship overseas because I limited it to, I think, $20. Yeah, I'm not charging more than 20. I can't charge $30 when somebody orders a $25 perk from me. To me,
Yeah.
just charging more for shipping than the product is just immoral. So I won't do
I
it.
agree.
So
I agree.
so I do eat some money on the foreign sales, but the good news is I make enough, a little tiny bit of profit off the domestic shipping that it's gonna balance out.
Right.
So you just have to figure out what punishment are you willing to absorb, how much, and how much can you afford to absorb to pass that on to the backer.
I had thought about like maybe I don't know if it would be like cost effective, but like do a special tier for like the Aussies or from England or whatever that they get something that's for them that it will be worth it to spend
Right.
the more money because it sucks. It's not fair, kind of out of our hands. But if we can make them happier, then it would be, something or something.
Well, Bancroft said that when he had Graham Nolan on, he told him that he didn't back the Chinook because he couldn't justify the shipping expense based on what he was paying for the book. But now that Graham was doing the Alamo book and he was also offering the Chinook with it, now Bancroft's going to back it because he's getting 2 books and he can justify that in the same shipment. So that's one way to do it, is to offer them your previous work with it, you know what I mean, as an incentive for them to back it.
Real quick, for everybody joining us in the chat, please remember, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the Out and Stuff channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, hit that bell for notifications, and share it. Spread the word. Help us get more subscribers. We're trying to build this channel as much as we can. And if you're watching on Facebook, is I think what I meant to say, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe, hit the like button, and do all the stuff I just said. So, cool house. Yeah. I'm going to Disneyland. All right, that's it. Back to our regular scheduled programming.
Oh, is that the retail store down there? Or up
That's
there?
not that far away from me. Well, Pennsylvania, at least. Well, it depends in Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania's pretty big. Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, man. Crap, I had a question. I had something in my head. It's gone now. I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a little bit since I lost a thought.
And I'm not high tonight, so I guess what the hell? Maybe you've been smoking?
Yeah.
When you get over 40, it's really bad.
Yeah, I was holding on to it. I was waiting to get it out, and then I did the whole announcement, and then I just lost it. So, well, I would say like we're almost at the hour mark. Let's jump in and talk about the animation in Dogtown real quick, and then we'll circle around before we end here back with War Party. But the animation, there we go. Okay, so yeah, so this is the page you shared with me. So this is your animated movie, Dogtown.
Yeah.
And do you have a trailer on this site, or is that trailer?
No, but I can share with you the secret link for the trailer. The reason why it's not on there is because I'm still trying to get the rights to the song that I used in it.
Okay, I got you.
So as long as you don't mind playing it, I'll play it. But
yeah, you share it with us. I'll play it.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, it's the trailer that played during, like I said, during the Sundance Film Festival. Hang on, I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
And it's, I mean, I call it basically Gladiator meets Animal Farm. You know, it's
I like it.
this young pit bull is dragged into this world of fighting dogs that he knows nothing about. You know, he's just from a typical home. He gets taken out of his home in Manhattan and driven halfway across the country to Missouri, and because actually Missouri is the state with the highest amount apparently of dog fighting, illegal
Oh.
dog fighting. Yeah,
Really?
when I was doing my research. Yeah, I came across that. I was like,
Interesting.
so Missouri, huh? So I figured that'd be a good place to make it. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
Will
And,
Michael Vick be making an appearance in this book, in the cartoon?
Say again? Oh, Mike. It's funny you say that because I've had people actually say that you should get him to finance it. It'd be a great sort. I'm like, oh gosh.
Oh my
It's
God.
like, it'd be a great. First of all, I don't think he would. But second of all, they're like, it'd be a great sort of like redemption story. You know, he comes, he finances this movie. Okay, I sent you the link
Oh yeah.
in the private chat, and
Yep.
you can check out the trailer. Now this is indie grindhouse kind of animation. So this is not Disney multi-million-dollar. This is small budget with a real hard-hitting kind of story. So just keep that in mind.
All right. Let's see. Audio. Gotta select audio. Otherwise, it's for nothing. All right. Here we go. Let's check this out.
This is all a big mistake. I have a master right here in the city. I'm trying to get home to him.
It's my job to teach you how to stay alive. Staying alive means winning.
I'll stay in my corner. I'll refuse to come out.
You fight.
Now place your bets and everybody! Showdown! Throwdown! Money down! Go town!
Rusty, I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be like this. There's a better life out there beyond Dogtown.
I'm a champion. You know what that means, Gentle Max? That means my children and their children, they'll all be fighters.
I'm doing you a favor, you ungrateful cur. You may have the others fooled, but not me. You're right, Jumper. They were never loyal to us. I don't hold back for anybody. Bring it, kid. With each fight, we both sold pieces of our souls. How many pieces do you have left, Molly?
Wow.
Wow.
That looks cool.
Thanks.
Wow.
That looks
Thanks.
really cool. Like I did not
Yeah,
expect that. I want to
It's
see
a powerful.
that.
It's a powerful story. Because the whole storyboards are done. Like the whole movie, you can watch the movie in storyboard form, and like the finished shots will pop up. It'll be animation. It'll go back to storyboards. You've all seen those work reels.
Mhm.
And I actually screened it in a theater a couple of years ago. The story reel, Raising Investors. I mean, people were crying at the end of the movie. This is storyboards, and they were
Wow.
like, I mean, people were like, because it's very moving. Like, because these dogs, they don't all make it, obviously. So, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't given up on it by any means. It's one of those things where when you work on something for 7 years, you need something else to keep your creative fires going. You can't draw the same thing for 7 years. You start to stagnate as an artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're stuck. You're locked in a style. I've been drawing pit bulls in cartoon form for 7 years nonstop. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
I needed to do something to exercise my artistic muscles, something completely stylistically different than animation. And of course, comics are much more detailed, and it's a totally different type of drawing. And so, it was important for me to do that, and get another IP out there too. You can't
Sure.
put all your eggs in one basket. But yeah, these are all the different characters. Vicious Vic is George Foreman. Stacey Dash is Athena, and Jason Begay is Mahler.
Now, is there a way for you to take like shots or frames and kind of put it into a book format? Like back in the day, the Marvel did that with the X-Men Children of the Atom. So
yeah,
you can
it's funny you say that, because I thought, what if I crowdfunded a comic, a Dogtown graphic novel, at least got the story out there in book form. The problem with this type of art, because it's so simplistic, it looks great when it's moving, but when you slap it on a page, people tend to want more detail and rendering in their comic books than this. So I'm not so sure it would fit in that format without changing the artistic style a little bit more. I don't know. It might. I mean, it could. It wouldn't hurt to try, I guess, but I don't know. I've thought about it, but I'm just not so sure it's suited to that medium. But I could be wrong. It might work, but yeah, there's some footage of them in the studio. There's Stacy doing her recording and Jason doing his, and I think George Foreman's on the other one. George was great. That was amazing meeting him, talking about fights and everything. I was like, I'm sitting here directing the former heavyweight champion of the world. This is weird. I'm like talking in his headset, telling him what to do and his lines and everything. So it was cool.
Well, I gotta say, as simplistic as the art is that you were saying is for the cartoon, that the trailer was so well done that I was just sitting there thinking, I was just, getting emotionally invested into the story just watching the trailer, and that's when like the trailer is damn good.
Nice.
And I was just like, wow, again, it could be because it's dogs, and it's the whole dog fighting thing, and everyone loves dogs and gets sucked into it. But when you start when you start talking about the blood and stuff, like I wasn't really thinking about it until I saw the trailer, and I was like, oh man, like yeah, you definitely, putting some real life issues behind this cartoon, and it looked awesome.
Well, and that's why I went with that style of art, because I knew if we're going to have animals getting hurt, you got to make them cartoony. The more realistic you make them, the harder it's going to be to watch. But what's good about this type of style is you can show these things, and they'll digest it because they're not seeing real dogs. Like if this was a CG movie and they were rendered real realistically, it would I don't think it would be watchable. But because it's these cartoon styles, you can push that envelope a little bit and get away with it. Because I'm not trying to disturb people. I want them to be entertained from the movie, and it is an entertaining movie. But there's some moments in it that are heavy, where you're like, oh my God, this is wow, So it's. I mean, like I said, I've witnessed a theater full of people, many of which are in tears, men and women, adults and children. So there's something there. That's when when you get that back from an audience, you've got something. So it'll get finished, it'll get financed. It's just very difficult to make these type of independent movies because the way the system's set up, you got to go get the money yourself. That's just the way it works.
Right.
It's powerful. Well, look, I listen to Boys to Men. I cry on a daily. So this almost had me in tears.
Well, thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, I sincerely hope that you get the funding or whatever it is you need to actually get this thing done and out and picked up wherever it might go, because I would really like to hopefully see that someday, because it seems like a really cool concept, really cool cartoon, just judging by the trailer. It's like one of those things, like I was hooked by the trailer, so I gotta wait.
Well, like I said, so was Sundance, and that's a tough crowd. So that was some serious validation. Let me tell you what, when she called me and told me that, I was like, wow, Sundance Film Festival. Just the fact that we even got to show anything, that never happens for independents. Is very hard to get noticed at Sundance, as you've all heard, I'm sure. So it was pretty cool.
Too cool.
Damn, like both stories are so fucking moving. Like,
well, thanks.
I know. You got the father daughter aspect, and then with the dogs, you're just like, I'm torn. Like this is really some
Well,
great,
thanks. I mean,
great storytelling.
I like movies. I mean, or stories with really heavy emotional centers. You
Hmm.
know, like that's just the way. I mean, I like action movies, but like even something like, for example, Die Hard. That little bit they put in there where he's in the bathroom and his feet are all slashed up,
Right.
and he's talking to Al on the radio about his wife. Like that's what makes that movie work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that little bit. The action's great. Love the action. But you got to have those moments where the character, you're just like, I got to see this guy make it. This guy's got to make it. Like, I can't, that's what makes you care about them. That's the problem with the new Star Wars movies is we didn't get that. We didn't
Yeah.
get, no,
That's
we
for sure.
didn't get anything that made us give a crap about anybody. And if you
Nope.
don't care about the characters, you're done. You're finished.
Yeah.
I don't care how good the art is or any of that. If they don't care about the characters, you've got nothing at all. So I would rather have characters people care about than even over a good plot, honestly. It's creating good characters that people connect with. So, you know, that's kind of how I approach writing.
I
I
wanna
would
take
love to
one-
have you on like sometime down the well, whenever you want, clearly, but to like go over storytelling, you know, like just a show that kind of just goes into that for because you know we're all trying to learn to be storytellers ourselves, and just from you being on the show this past hour, like you know the tips and tricks and everything, you just kind of the visual teases. You know, I think we're all going to apply it to our own individual projects.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
It's
really cool.
yeah, it's just human stuff, man. You know,
Sure. Yeah.
don't let the humanity get lost in the monsters and the superheroes. As long as you don't let it get lost in that, people will respond to it. I mean, it's a tried and true formula, and I just try not to let it get stale, obviously, because I mean,
No.
werewolves have been around forever. Nobody cares about. I mean, werewolves. We've seen them a million times, right? Shapeshifters. We've seen all this stuff. It's how you frame it around whatever the story is you're telling. Because like me and Eddie Winkler have been talking about possibly doing a team up book
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sovereign Wolf in the future. Because his is a completely different sort of take. We both have shapeshifters,
Yeah.
but his is a completely sort of a different angle on it than what I'm doing. So both books have their application as stories. You know what I mean? Like they're not the same thing, but there are similar elements to I think that make both of them work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I
Like
want to take a.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Joe, but like again, going back to eat me. Like going back to like the father daughter aspect. Like in my book, one of the core elements is an uncle raising his nephew due to certain circumstances, and then there's like the cool shit, you know. So
Right.
you kind of go with that, and like yeah, if you could like hook, line, and sinker people like with their feels, you're in.
Right, and it also it's a great thing when you run into trouble with your writing, as long as you have clear what your theme is and what your heart is, and if you're having trouble with the story at any given moment, go right back to that theme or that part of the story. Default back to that immediately. As long as you do that, it'll work, right? Because sometimes we can meander when we're writing and get off on tangents, and all of a sudden,
Sure.
how many times have you seen a movie and you're like, where the heck is this going? I've been watching this for an hour. I have no idea what's
Right.
where this is heading. Like, it's just losing me. It's because they lost the heart of what the story was really about. Because the story is not about plot. The plot is what happens. But that's not what that's about. It's about the theme, whatever the theme is under the plot. So whenever you run into problems, just go back to that theme every time. That's what I always do.
It's the issue with Last Jedi.
Sound advice.
Oh, God.
Sound advice.
How dare you mention that in my presence, sir? Do not ever say that again. I will cut out your tongue.
Oh man. No. No.
As long as we don't trash the Ewok specials, we're good.
Yeah.
Gotta download the Ewok specials. All right, I want to take another look at the trailer.
And we got
That was just really fun.
the teaser one too, right? We haven't checked out yet.
This one?
It's just a little. Yeah, it's just an issue 0 teaser. It's like 30 seconds.
Yeah, let's
we're
look
here.
at it.
We're here.
Let's check it out.
That's Preston Acevedo art right there.
Yeah, awesome cover.
That's it.
Cool. Cool.
It's just a reminder, it's out there, guys,
Yeah, I like how the trailers are well done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This one, I want to play this one again because I really enjoyed
This
it.
ain't your first rodeo, it seems.
No, I mean, video's my thing, guys.
Yes,
Right.
caught between the French and the British. Them paid the price. Only my darling Sarah survived. Took her away. We couldn't save them, but we will save her. 5 men against thousands, how can it be done? We are not really men. War has brought out the beast in us all. And we will have our vengeance. For we are
The War Party.
That's so cool. I got
Yeah,
I
it's,
got-
some trailers, they just go on way too long. I've found keep it about a minute and a half.
yeah.
Don't get to the point. People's attention spans these days is just nothing. Right? And I've
Right.
noticed
True.
if you go more than about 2 minutes, you've gone too long. Like it's too much.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I mean, people can do whatever they want, but
I
I try
agree
to
with
keep
you.
things brief.
Yeah.
I think the
And
days of getting on camera and going, "Hi, I'm Justin Murphy, and I want to tell you about my book War Party." That people don't want that anymore.
I never
Right.
liked that to begin with.
They don't. They don't want that
Yeah.
anymore. That is something from like 10 or 15 years ago with crowdfunding.
Right.
That is not. You see how good the trailers are getting. I mean, honestly, they've gotten better since I even made that one. I was like, I'd have to up my game on that one now because the trailers now they've got full-on animated titles, and you got to be careful because people aren't buying your animation, right? They're buying the
Right.
book. So
Yeah.
that's great. You've got all this flashy stuff, but that flashy stuff has nothing to do with the book at all. It's just a way to get people excited about it. So I think sometimes that can be a little bit of a distraction. Show the art. Talk about the story. Art and story. That's what matters in your trailer ultimately, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Definitely going to keep that in mind for when it comes time to cut a trailer. Well, we are right around hour and 15. This has been a really fun episode. We would love to have you on again later
a real
on.
blessing. I gotta say, a real blessing and an honor
Thanks.
just to chat with you and pick your brain, like,
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, I'm going to be doing a lot of work in the coming months. So if you want me to jump on while I'm drawing, and I can just share screen and just talk and hang out while I work, while I ink or something, I'd love to do that. It's a way of being able to stream and also work at the same time.
That would be awesome.
We're gonna do a live drawing stream Saturday, February 20th. If you're free that night, we'll drop you a link and come in if you can.
Would I be able to work on what I'm working on, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because I know some of those, it's like you have to draw whatever's drawing.
Nah,
We're all doing
nah.
Deadpool tonight, or
No, we just
nah.
had a concept because we have so many creators that come on, so many artists and CG and stuff. Like we're gonna have Mike McMahon's gonna be on with us and some other guys. It's basically whatever you're working on at the time. We're just gonna get together. We're gonna stream it live. You can show what
Cool.
you're drawing, or you can just show yourself drawing. Whatever you want to do is feels comfortable. And then we're just gonna talk about whatever we want to talk about and just stream for a couple hours while we're all just working on stuff, almost like a studio environment.
yeah.
That's just
Yeah,
the concept of it.
That'd be great, yeah, because I'm going to have to go underground pretty soon because I've got so much work to do, and honestly, I've been spending 75% of my time running a campaign and getting to those numbers that you see. But, those numbers don't just happen, by the way, everybody out there who hasn't done a campaign, those numbers don't happen, guys. You have to work full-time, hustle, every dollar, every backer is earned. It does not just fall in your lap at all. And unfortunately, that takes you away from the drawing table.
Right.
Sure.
You can't do both. So I'm going to have to get to the point where these next few months, drawing is the priority, and if I'm able to come on, I'm going to have to be working at the same time.
Yeah,
There's just no way, anymore.
Well-
It's an addiction. You see the numbers go up, and you're like, just another $1,000. Just one more 1,000. Just one. Come on, let's just keep. And you're like, I gotta get to work.
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this. But the money is addicting. You see it, and you're like, backers.
Sure.
We're building up this thing.
Well, I mean, the point is regardless of what anyone says, we're making books because we love it. But the point is also to make as much money as you can because you want to produce more books. You want
Right.
better quality, bigger print runs. If you want to hire more talent to come in to do, if you made enough money and you're doing your book and you wanted to hire a completely another team to do another concept, to do a,
Like John and Mark, yeah.
Right, like John, to me, that's the ultimate goal.
Well, and honestly, for this to be sustainable, because I have a full-time job, benefits, all that good stuff. I don't have to make money off this, but honestly, for it to be sustainable in the long run, we all have to start making a profit at some point.
Right.
Because if you're not getting paid at least for your labor, at least to pay yourself, it's not sustainable. It's a hobby. It's a very expensive hobby. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And so at some point, we've all got to be making some kind of profit to make it have any type of longevity. If CG is going to ever last and become something, campaigns have to, in my opinion, be hitting the $50,000 mark and up. That's what that needs to be the goal. You don't want any campaigns that aren't hitting 50K.
Yeah.
Because that's ultimately about what it's going to take to really, especially for people that want to make a living. Forget it. I mean, you got to make six figures on a campaign if this is your full-time job. Because by the time you fulfilled it and paid your taxes and everything, you're lucky if you're making $30,000 a year off that thing.
Yeah.
So you see that the dilemma is you either have to have another job and do this on the side, or our campaign's numbers have to get much, much higher, which means we have to attract a lot more readers and backers than we have now in sort of the pool, because very few people are going to hit $250,000. I mean, those are like rock star levels.
Yeah.
If most of us could hit 50, 60, 70, if most of us could be Eric Weathers or Clint Stokers, between the 70s and the 90s, around there, then everybody, I think, would be in really good shape. That would be the way we
that's well said. And, like a lot of people that back the books that CG produces, I think you want to see these people succeed and go into full-time development because, one, that might mean more campaigns. You're not having to wait. Like, I know some people, like Ethan Van Sciver, really wants to put out one book a year, and those books are big, and it's like this specialty thing. I get the concept, but then you got other people that want to strive to put out like 2 books a year, or more if they can. And you're just doing campaign after campaign after campaign. And as a reader, to me, that's cool because I would like to, if I really enjoy your story, I would like to have more before the next time my birthday rolls around, and I just keep getting older and older, waiting for that book to come. So I think if you could get the really talented people,
and your hairline keeps going backer and backer.
Oh, it's coming forward. Is what it's doing. But yeah, if you
grow that taller, you'll be competing with Rob Arnold.
But yeah, if you get some of the really talented guys in CG, and I'm talking about just the quality guys that are putting out really quality work, and that's not to have any offense to anybody that's doing CG. If you could get the guys that really have the talent and really have the quality and putting forth professional looking work, and you get them to a point where they can work full time, it benefits everybody, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean,
definitely. It drives traffic here. The problem is a lot of the big timers, they mostly seem like they go straight to Kickstarter. Other than Sean Gordon Murphy, I know he did Indiegogo, but a lot of the big names, they all default to Kickstarter, unfortunately. It definitely. Here's the thing: once Marvel and DC finally collapse, because it's coming. They fully collapse. These pros are going to have to go get another career, or they're going to have to come over to crowdfunding. They're going to be their only options. Okay, and if they're not willing to do what we're doing right now, and hustle and pitch their projects, I think they're going to be really disappointed in the results. because I don't care how big your name is, you're going to make more money if you do it this way than if you just throw it up there and trust that your name is going to carry it alone, or your sort of your reputation. I don't think that's enough anymore in this sort of new industry we're building here.
Yeah.
And it's a cool way to kind of get to know the creators themselves.
Right. You got to be
'cause-
accessible,
Mhm.
and you got to be accountable because they will hold you accountable. In the
Oh, for
chat,
sure.
Right.
they'll hold you, and you know their
As they
names,
should.
you know who they
Yeah.
are. Yeah, and it's great. So that shield, that comfortable shield that a lot of professionals had, where they could sort of hide behind the publishing company
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
sort of do their thing and not have to mingle with the plebes, or that's gonna go. That's gone. You got to be willing to say, look, I hold you in higher esteem than myself. I hold you, the reader, in higher esteem than I hold me.
Right.
I'm here to serve you. I'm here
Sure.
to give you a great book, great entertainment. You're not here to serve me. You don't owe me anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's the approach that you have to take, and that's what I like about Comicsgate, because it's a fan-driven, movement. It's like,
Right. Yeah.
And we're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's like when the industry finally does get to a point where you get a lot of these professionals coming over to try to now do crowdfunding because they realize that their platform isn't making any money anymore. I think they're in for a rude awakening, because the people that have ruined the industry with their political nonsense or their concepts or whatever that they're forcing into the books are really surviving off the name of the characters that they're writing. Because there's excuse me, there are people that are always going to buy Batman or Superman or any of these characters. They're going to go out and buy those books, so they're making money, even if the story might be crap. Once those people leave and have to do their own books or their own characters, I think they're going to find out that there's not a big market for their nonsense ideas and stuff that they want forced down people's throats. And it's going to be a bad day for them when they come to crowdfund and they realize, like, hey, that audience isn't there, that money isn't there, and we just destroyed an entire industry for nothing. Where guys like us, CG, the independent guys, are just saying, like, screw all this, we're going to go and do our own thing, we're going to make good books, good quality books, fun stories, good characters, are going to reap all the benefits at some point, because that's where the passion is for the industry. It's not in the mainstream comics right now. It's in the independents, and that's why I'm such a big fan of independents. Yeah,
Well,
comics.
and
It's so inspiring.
It's direct to consumer. Like, I mean, you've got like Patrick Thomas Parnell doing toys. You got Ethan doing toys. You got, who's to say I couldn't get Dogtown funded on, the rest of Dogtown finished on crowdfunding?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
go straight.
I mean,
screw the theaters, the distributors. Go straight to the audience. So we're building something, I think, that's bigger than comics. And if we just keep the momentum going and producing quality books, good stories, new characters, new IPs, the sky's the limit, because this is really where it's all going. I mean, the theaters are closing, the studios are falling apart. They're having to cut their budgets because they can't make box office anymore.
Yeah.
Right? How are you going to make a $300 million movie with no movie theaters? You're going to go straight to streaming? How are you going to make money doing that? You can't.
I wanted the same thing. Like, it's not a model that's going to be sustainable without the
not at all.
The theaters.
You'd have to break it up into a TV series or something, or do something different. But then all you're really doing is just trying to retain subscribers. You're not making really any money unless you charge paper, like on demand or whatever. But then people don't want to pay that at home. They expect it to be part of their package. So they're not going to pay to, So what's the solution? Direct to the consumer. Forget all, just like what we're doing here. But why couldn't it be done with movies? It doesn't just have to be done with comic books.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We do this with toys. We do this with movies. We do this with our own streaming TV shows. I mean, it's just about getting people here to fund it. That's all it is. And you can do whatever you want. Once you have the money, you can hire people to make these things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most of my animators used to work for Disney and Cartoon Network. They're pros who've been working almost as long as I've been alive. I've got animators who've been working for 35, 40 years.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and they're all over the world, not just in America. It's a new day for creative ventures, and I think what we're doing here is the model. It's very small. It's in its infancy.
Right.
I would like to see every campaign on that CG tracker list add a 0 on the end. Add another
Right.
0. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we're doing something. Your 6-figure campaigns are now 7-figure campaigns. Your 5-figure campaigns are now 6-figure campaigns, and so on
Yeah.
and so forth, all the way down.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then at some point, people wouldn't be able to ignore it anymore, or the whole bashing of the movement.
It's a hack group.
It would not have any teeth. You know,
That's
like 'cause right
losing
now,
its.
it's losing it anyway right now. I agree
It
with
is.
that. But there are still some people out there that have bad opinions because they've just been fed a line of bullshit and they don't
Right.
really look into things for themselves. But at some point, it's going to break away from that when you really see it picking up more and more steam. And all I see is it gets bigger and bigger every year. More people are jumping on. You know, it's a very diverse group of people, despite what anybody wants to say when it comes to CG creators. So I think the sky's the limit. And if we can just capture the momentum and keep going forward with it, and really take a lot of the power away from the people in the mainstream and in the positions where they think that they've got the voice, they've got the power, the gatekeepers, everybody that can try to come after you and try to de-platform you and cancel you and that whole cancel culture bullshit. That's gonna, that's some weak people trying very desperately to hold on to whatever little bit of power that they have left because they're loud motherfuckers, and you've got an army of people that are rising up to take it back.
I'm so sick of corporate controlled entertainment anyways. There's nothing left for them to say. Like there's no, how many more, I mean, I love Batman, right? I love all these characters, but how many more stories do we need about Batman and Superman? I mean, Isn't it time for some new stuff after freaking 90 years of some of these characters? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, isn't it time to go, maybe we can put that stuff to bed. We've got decades of great stories to read.
Right.
And all you guys have left is changing their genders. That's all you have left. There's nothing left for you to do with these characters. You've done it all. So let's just create new stuff and bring the audience over to new things. Because, like I said, how many more times do we need to hear the Batman's origin story? Or Superman, how many times do we need to reboot these things?
Or a new fucking Robin? Give me a break. Are we like number 10 by now? Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and we need to get back to the creator-driven product. You know what I mean? Because Hollywood used to let creators take control of their movies, and that's why we had good movies back then.
Right.
We had George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis with Back to the Future and all these movies that would never be made today the way they were made because they're so corporately controlled now. You got 15 people giving opinions about how the movie should be done. You can't have a good movie with that kind of committee-controlled nonsense. It's called too many cooks in the kitchen. It's a bad idea. And, what I love about Comicsgate is I am the creator of War Party. Anything that's wrong with it is my fault. Anything that's right with it is my credit, right?
Right.
So you're getting my vision uninterrupted, uncorrupted, right? Same thing with you guys, whatever you create. It's uncorrupted. You may hire an editor to help you out, fine. But you don't have 15 executives who know nothing about art telling you got to change this, you got to write that, you got to do this.
Right.
That's done. People are over that stuff. Sorry to go on a rant.
No, it's all love. No. We need more of it. Like preach.
Yeah, I'm 47. I don't have time for BS anymore. I'm just, I don't care. You reach a certain point in age where you're not afraid of anything anymore. You're like, just, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I don't care about the consequences or what people say or what people think. Just do it. Life's too freaking short, man.
We've had Mark Polton on quite a few times on the show, and I asked him one time, because being a writer point of view, about if he was taking on a character, let's say like Batman or something. I was like, wouldn't you want to write stories that what the fans are looking for and what represents the character? Or are you, as a writer coming in, want to write the character what represents you, because your ego is so big that now this character has to be what your moral high ground or your ideals are supposed to be? And the obviously answer is you want to write for the fans. And the problem is, like you said, we have had so many Batman. I love Batman. I love all the classic heroes. I don't read a lot of the comics anymore because of the stories. And if they went away, I would be sad because of the fact that I love those heroes. It's my childhood and it's going away. But it's also sad right now because I love those heroes. It's my childhood and it has gone away because a lot of these characters aren't the same anymore. Like I collect, I buy the Batman or the Catwoman Batman book by what's his face, Tom King. Not because I like the story, because the art is really, really good, and it's a fun book to look at. But the story is horrible because the dude doesn't know how to write Batman. You know, it's not Batman.
He's a bitch. Batman's a bitch. It's
Batman.
Like,
yeah,
come
I
on,
heard that.
you know, like,
Left at the altar and all that stuff. I heard
right.
that.
Yeah.
And that is my point about like how people handle our iconic characters these days.
Mhm.
That they're pretty much already gone. The art's
Right.
great a lot of times with some of these books, but the characters are gone. So if that goes away, it is what it is. You know, it's sad because the characters are dead. But if you are making room for new characters, and my whole rambling point here is I got into a conversation with somebody on Facebook about the 5G or the future state, the future state of what's going on right now. And I just said, like, it sucks that DC isn't making original characters anymore. And someone was like, well, these are original characters because they're new versions. I was like, no, they're just retread versions of the same character. They're just, the gender has changed or the race has changed or whatever. I was like, but you're not making a brand new character. Like, if you wanted to do a future state where you said all the whole old superheroes are gone, we have no Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, they're gone. Here's a brand new character, you know, Trash Man or something, whatever. But this is a brand new character from a brand new beginning that we're going to start pushing on you with great art and a really cool story. I could jump on board and be like, all right, it's a brand new character, but they don't want to do that. They're just like, here's another version of Wonder Woman. Here's the new Batman. Here's Superman's son. It's like, there's nothing there that interests me or brings me into the fold to be a new reader. It's just same old shit. Same old shit.
Because a new character requires
I already
marketing
did.
effort, you know, that an existing IP doesn't. In other words, it's easier to take Thor and make Thor a woman than to create a whole new character who's a female who has Thor's powers but has a different name.
Right.
That's from corporate down. They're like, we got to keep that Thor property because that's recognizable. People know it. It has value. Just make it a woman. You know. There you go. Done. Okay, next. I mean, that's these are the people making the decisions. They don't care about the art or the comics or the characters. They don't care about anything. They just care about, you know, what's the bottom line? Is it going to have what does the math say about how many people will buy it based on it being Thor but a woman than, you know, I don't know, Valkyria or whatever, you know,
right?
Because then you have to put effort behind marketing that new character. Think about Spawn. As big as Spawn was when it came out, when McFarlane released Spawn, and it's still the most successful indie book to this day. It's only had one movie since. He's working on another one. But my point is, Spawn is the biggest indie character ever created, but it's only known as well as it's known because Todd McFarlane was pretty much the biggest artist in comics history, or one of them.
Right.
And, you know, of course, the HBO show and all that, and he had all that stuff. But the point is, you see how much it took just to get Spawn known, and you had everything working for him. Now you see how hard it is to get a new character to really take off. It's not easy to do, and the corporations know that, and so they're like, just use Thor, make it a woman. Just, you know, use Iron Man, make it a girl. Just, you know, it's easier to do. It doesn't require as much effort. It makes all the fans angry, but they don't care about that. they're just trying to keep that IP alive and modernize it, so to speak.
And that gets back to the whole CG is fans caring about fans, you know. And that's one thing I absolutely love about Comicsgate, or just independent books in general, is the fact that you see new characters, but they're fun new characters. You know, you can get into on the ground level, and you can grow and you can learn who these characters are without them being completely messed up. And you don't see that in the major comic book companies anymore. Like, you know, 80s, 90s, you know, go whatever era you want to before shit hit the fan, so to speak, and you had new characters popping up all over the place that were fun to get into, and that was a good creative boom,
The guy on Sean's wall right there created several of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Cable and Deadpool are still remembered to this day. They're lasting characters. So it can be done. It's just they don't want to do it. They're afraid.
Yeah.
It's fear. It's all fear driven. All this crap is fear driven. It's all about, oh God, is it going to lose money, and are we going to lose? Ironically, the thing they're afraid of is happening because they're afraid to do what they should be doing. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's, but I don't think they care about comics anymore. I think they're just going to let it collapse.
Hey, Jerry.
And probably just license it out. But who can afford the license? Who could afford to license Batman and publish it? By the time you pay the license fee, you're not going to make enough money off the comic books. So how do you license that character out? He's too expensive.
Well, like when I've heard EBS talk about these characters, that these guys really only want the license for movies now because that's where everything's at. Everything's. But if you kill the movie industry, who knows how much money you're going to be able to pour into a multi-billion-dollar blockbuster for the summers anymore that need all these special effects if you're going to do superhero movies. So it's just, to me, it's all crazy.
You mentioned Trash Man. There he is.
There you go. Nice.
I completely.
Spain Rodriguez, remember him?
No shit. That's funny. I just pulled that ad.
Yeah. Indie
Nice.
comic from the 60s.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Like, Trash Man.
Trash Man or something.
It's like, okay.
Here's a Trash Man.
It's been done.
Crazy.
Joe was about to trademark it. He's like, damn.
Yeah.
It's like, shit. That was my whole plan. Up in smoke.
He was like the first Occupy Wall Street hero, but he used a machine gun.
Yeah, there you go. All right, everybody, we're rolling up on an hour and 40 minutes here. I think we're going to bring this to an end. It's been a very fun conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have you on again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Next time you do a campaign or just in general, we'll do that draw, whatever we're going to call it, drawing stream,
sketching
stuff. I think so.
Sketching stuff.
You wanna do? I know they call it Bancroft Bump on his show. I don't know what you call it. Joe's Jolt. I don't know, but you may want to refresh my screen again because I think I got some more backers since we were talking.
Oh yeah.
Art and funds.
Say what?
Art and funds.
Art and funds.
Yeah, why not?
Art and funds.
Funds.
Like a mutual fund for creators.
Yeah.
Sean is the guy who comes up with all the taglines for the show.
Jumped up. 2048.
All right, guys, keep on rolling. We really appreciate everybody that came onto this, into the chat. Everybody back today. Oh shit! Sorry, I got that up still. Later, Jasper. Plant. I always say plane. It's plant. I'm like dyslexia. That's my excuse for everything. Dyslexia, which I do have dyslexia.
Excuse. You can't do that, dude.
But I legitimately have dyslexia.
So, I'm sorry.
Before we get out of here, though, Professor Murph, do you want to give a shout out, or not shout out, plug anything you want to plug, where we can find you? Obviously, the stuff we talked about tonight, but just social media, all that good stuff.
Yeah, really, my main focus is my YouTube channel, just trying to grow it. It's Professor Murph on YouTube. So check it out. I do about a video a week. I'm also, I started last Sunday, but every Sunday I'm backing a new CG campaign for 4 weeks. So I pick a CG campaign I want to back that I haven't already backed, and for the next 4 weeks, possibly longer, I'm going to back a new campaign. So I post the video on Sunday, and I tell you which campaign I backed. Last week it was Michael Bancroft's Lucent, because I still hadn't backed it, and I know I needed to. That's a great looking.
Yeah, I got to back that one too.
But it could be anything. It could be campaigns that are way down in like the 2000s, or it could be campaigns that are in the 6 figures. It's just I'm selecting the ones I like. It's that simple. So, thanks, Rick. Appreciate it. Yeah, Rick's got my. And by the way, everybody that ordered my previous works in the Secret Perk, they've all got them. I've shipped them. They're out. They're in their hands. Overseas,
Nice.
domestic, doesn't matter. So I don't
Thank
waste
you.
any time. If the stuff's available, it goes in the mailer and it's in the mail, gone. So I try to deliver on time. Is it werewolves? No, no. It's
Hey,
it's more animation, art driven type stuff.
As far as our mods we have in the chat, can you grab Professor Murph's link and throw that in there for everybody? We appreciate that. And then everybody,
you.
if you're in here still and you're watching, follow that link, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to do the same thing as soon as we get off of here. But I'd really appreciate it if any of the mods could find that and post that for us.
But in the meantime, I just wanted to show what I. It's already unboxed, but I got in Shelby Robertson's '94.
Oh,
It's
nice.
fucking awesome. Yeah, great.
Wow,
great
he was
quality.
fast.
Oh yeah, well the book was done, but
Okay,
It
it
was
was already
very
printed.
fast.
Okay,
like it was 3 issues, so like he already had the files, so he
gotcha.
just sent it off. But with that, it also came with an awesome ash can with great some pinups and some previews
Nice.
for his Rage-ality War, which we'll have Shelby on at the end of February. A cool card.
Oh, wait, sorry. Hey, I did not get a chance to back that campaign, but I think he's got a store,
Yeah,
online
Cool
store we can
card.
get off
Oh,
too.
nice.
So.
I like the cards.
reminiscent of yeah.
They do.
reminiscent
They
of
look like
the
the
Jim Lee.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's straight
The
up.
X-Men cards. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And just some cool stickers. And you know what? It came fast. It came great quality as far as packaging goes and all that. So he's got a customer with me, just for all that. So, and again, we'll have
Cool.
Shelby on February 20-something. So the last the last Friday in February. I'm sorry, sleep deprived.
Thanks, Aaron Berg. Appreciate you dropping that link in there. So there's a link,
Dale
everybody.
Harrowinberg.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
good people.
go
Good people.
follow that link and subscribe to that. Yeah, I'm falling behind on my backing. Although I've backed quite a bit of campaigns, I only have so much money and bills.
Yeah.
So
But the great
thank you,
thing
Jack.
is that
Plan 9.
they're long. A lot of them are doing long, so we can all play catch up.
That's nice.
Which is awesome because insulin ain't cheap. So it's cool on that. It's cool on. Tell me about it.
But yeah, that was the thing about a lot of the campaigns. When Professor Murph and I were first talking, he was like, "My campaign is ending pretty soon." And I was like, "Oh shoot, we can't really get you on until a certain time." And he was like, "Well, I'm probably going to go into demand." So that's great. When a project can go in or a campaign can go into demand, it gives some guys like me extra time to be able to back the project.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I would, when Shelby comes on, I'd like to talk to him because his campaigns are always real fast, in my opinion. They're fast and then they're over. Like where I just half expect a lot of people now to go into in demand, knowing that I don't have to back it right away if I don't have the money, and I can eventually get to it. So I think that's a great way to keep your campaign open, and you get you got $10,000 more dollars just being in demand. That's crazy, and that's awesome.
It just went up again. Another backer, just as you were talking.
Let's refresh.
We're gonna refresh. Hold on a second.
You're getting a bounce here, man. This is good for the show.
So many pages here open. All right, refresh. Boom! There you go.
There we go.
Another $20.
I
There
love
we go.
it.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Keeps going and going and going.
Thanks
yeah,
to the
cool.
chat.
Yeah. Hail the chat.
Yeah, you guys have been awesome.
But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on, and we'll do this again. I'd love to come on and just do draw, and just hang out.
Yeah, we'll get you the
Absolute
information and the date for that. So stick around after we go, after we end the show. We'll talk a little bit about that before we get out of here. But all right, Sean, where can we find your work?
You can find me at Sean Aaron. Across the board, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Geeks at the Beach on Facebook, which is the convention I threw down here in South Delaware. What else? I'll be on Primetime Portland tomorrow night with Mark Polton and Mike McMahon. Talk about Sea Dog and Codename Kill Switch Volume 2, U.S. Assassin, maybe a little bit of Type 1 if I pull a best friend card. I'm going to be starting a new show next month with my friend Myra, and next week Joey, if you're nasty, will be on Michael Bancroft. So we're going to Australia. So pack your bags,
Go
brother.
Australia, that's right.
We're going to Australia. Yeah, we'll pack our bags. What
Yep.
about you, Joe?
And he's streaming tonight, right? As usual.
Yeah,
From 11
o'clock.
Yeah, so
last
everybody,
night he was on at 9 last night for some reason. I think
Oh,
Graham
was he?
goes to bed early.
Okay.
Graham Nolan goes to bed early, so he had to do that.
Graham looks like
yes.
Jack of Phil Collins.
So everybody check out his show as soon as we get off here. So yeah, you can find me on all the social media. Joe Sontag, Joe M. Sontag. Type that in. All the major social media platforms I'm going to be on. I got my own YouTube channel, Joe M. Sontag. Type that in. You can find me. I've been doing a series called Appreciating Comic Book Art, which I just recently jumped into after taking a long hiatus because of doing the book and doing this show and everything else. But I've been starting to put more videos up. Check that out. Give me some feedback. Let me know what artists you would like me to check out and talk about. Really enjoy doing it. I think that's it. I'm sure I'm forgetting something.
Are we still doing the build-up thing for the guest that we're having in March?
Oh yeah. All right. Well, before we do that, next week we're having on.
We're gonna have my guys from PLB. They're an indie company from the Maryland area. They're also they also throw Ocean City Comic Con in Maryland, which is one of my favorite shows ever. It's awesome. They make good money, and they're just good peoples, man. They've helped me down in this area with my convention, and they're just great fucking people. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with them and hopefully giving them a new audience.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And then so go ahead. I know you've been itching to say it, so I'll let you say it.
Yeah. So March 6th, this Saturday,
March 6th.
we're gonna have Ian Churchill as a guest on the show, and I'm super excited because I love his cable, love his Coven, one of my favorite books from Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just a phenomenal artist, and I cannot wait to just geek out.
It's going to be a Saturday because he's in the UK, so I think he's 5 hours ahead of us. So we couldn't do it on the usual Friday night. So it's going to be a special Saturday stream, March 6th. Tune in. It's going to be really fun.
Get your tea and crumpets ready, and just say, "What's up, governor?" Is that awesome?
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on another Friday night. It's been great, fantastic, and we will see you all next Friday. Be good to everyone. Have a great weekend.
Comics Gate.
Talk to you later. Peace.